everything that's been happening after I had the seizure. I had two seizures. I don't know if I told you. I had another
Oh
one.
no. Well, you had
Yeah.
one and we talked after. How long after was the second one?
It was like a week later.
Oh no. Did
So
they
that's why
figure
I've
out what
been
was going on?
MIA.
Yeah.
That's why I've been MIA. I've been meaning to catch up. I'm catching up on emails and stuff now. I just got some life in me. Was that Wednesday? Um, so I was able to get a neurology appointment and they gave me some new meds because the meds they had me on had me with banging headaches and drowsy. The dosage was too high. So now I got something else that's completely way safer. I've been doing a ton of research trying to figure
Good.
out what's best for me.
Well,
And
sometimes the side effects can be worse than the actual, thing with some of those medications.
yeah, so I think that because they gave me such a high dosage, because I do a lot of holistic stuff, it was
Yeah.
not, it didn't agree with my body. So
Yeah.
I got something, I saw the neurologist, so I was able to get testing done and get in sooner than what they had me scheduled for. And then for the past couple of days, I've been okay. I've been good. So
Good.
I've been getting caught up and getting some stuff
So
done.
win. I was going to
I
ask what your wins are. That's a win right there. Just the fact
so
that it's leveling it out and like there's not a whole lot of side effects with what you're taking right now.
I haven't had any headaches. I haven't felt any drowsiness. I've been like really zoning in, like waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's
I'm the same
5:30.
way. I'm the same way.
I normally don't wake up till about 6-ish, but I've been popping up at 5:30 and I've been just like zoning in, getting stuff done, getting caught up. My
Nice.
team's like, you're like rocking it out. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get caught up.
The question is, once you're caught up, is it going to keep going?
Yeah,
That can be
yeah.
hard to maintain.
Yeah, and then I finally finished the module 6, so I'm glad that I
Nice.
finally got that out of the way. And then I listen because I've been so down with the medication and stuff. I've read almost more than half of the Alex Hormozy 100 million leads.
Oh,
Um,
nice. So he's got a new book coming out soon.
okay,
It'll be
what's
awesome.
it
I think it's
called?
going to be slanted towards sales.
Okay,
So when
okay,
that pops up, I'll let you know that's going to be a good one for you to get because his,
yeah,
his stuff is really good.
yeah. No, I noticed a lot of the stuff like. You know what I shoot myself in the foot with, because I spend so much money on all these masterminds and I've had these books for so long.
Hmm.
And I got the 100 million offers, I got the 100 million leads, and a lot of the foundational stuff is there. The only thing that I don't regret is being able to do the networking and the collaborations, being able to talk to people about different softwares or different things that may or may not work, for them, because you want
Yeah.
to simplify the software process as well. So you don't have to invest in new software and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and kind of make sure the automations are all good too. So, I'm actually working on dissecting everything. So, I just got the new girl. She started this week. However, her laptop was broke, so she's been
Okay.
working it. So here's the thing:
But
the
is
good,
she working from home or she is coming into the office, right?
no, she's working from home.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I hired someone overseas. This is a so remember the first time I hired somebody, they were terrible, and I
Mhm.
ended up firing them after like the first week because they only
Yeah.
worked for like 10 days, and so I got rid of them.
They were making your life hell. I remember you were saying like it wasn't clicking. Like they
Yeah,
weren't getting it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I disputed that on Upwork and got that out of the way. So that was a good win. But I had automatically, when I was going through the interviewing process, I had somebody else starting 2 weeks later to give me enough time to be able to train them both. And so she's showing how relentless she is because she's literally doing everything from her phone. She did it for like 3 days. So it's like,
It shows you how awesome these phones are nowadays. Like all the stuff you
yeah,
can do with them.
yes.
Yeah.
So, either way it go, we still have to download the app so we can have, the phone version so that way we can keep up with the mass production of it outside of using the laptop. So I always tell them to make sure that you have the tools on your phone and have the tools on your laptop so that way you can be diversified for quick responses to people, when we're having reviews or getting those leads coming in. So
100%.
so yeah, so she's like so relentless. She's killing the game with her follow-up. I had her start off with some warm leads,
Yeah.
and she's gotten people that are in our pipeline that didn't follow up with the task that we assigned for them to get started with the job. She's gotten one person converted to actually getting the job done. And
I
my
love it.
bookkeeper's like doing like already got them going. It's my turn now. Like it's Friday and they did all the stuff and now they're waiting on me to do the quality review check.
Hey, that's the problem you want. Like, and see, that's the difference. Like you can tell like the difference between an A player and a B, C player. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of what it's exactly what you're saying actually, where the one trait that is the best is when somebody is assertive and they want to
Hmm.
go after it like a bulldog. And
Yep.
I can tell you, somebody that's dealing with your leads, that is the best type of person you want to have because, and this is something you want to keep looking out for when you're selling a higher dollar service. It's not like you're selling tacos. Like there are going to be some people that immediately buy, but the key to having a good marketing assistant is someone that can follow up.
Hmm.
So if somebody's like, I don't know, dealing with objections in the moment, and then also if they're like, I'm not ready, following up with that person another 2 weeks
Hmm.
the right way.
Yep.
That is when you know you've got somebody really good. Because at that point, you might have 100% of your leads. And before, if they don't do that, you're losing maybe 70% of them. Whereas if they follow up and they're relentless about it, you're going to capture a whole lot more than leads.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
It's
excited
exciting.
about her because she's showed me how thorough she is with just using the phone. She's like, please, T, just give me a chance. I'm gonna do this. And like she was doing so much stuff, like I haven't even had a chance to follow up and give her feedback for I gave her feedback for, through instant chat, but the end of the day, she finalized some stuff for me to go in there and have a look at because I had her create um some lead magnet templates. So we can have a few lead magnets swap out in between our giveaway, and then throw the lead magnet there so we can do the offer. Um, so I haven't started her on the social media outreach with the 100. I haven't had her start on that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have her start on that next week because I wanted
Nice.
to get her introduced with this. Her laptop's going to be ready on Monday, so she'll be able to be massive with it.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, you figure right now she's just on the phone, so if she's got the computer. It's going to be great with email. It's
Yeah.
and I think you're doing it the right way because if you, and usually I'm the same way when I'm bringing on new people when it comes to marketing, is a great way to get somebody some wins. And when you got a new person, even if they're an A player, if you give them the most challenging leads from the very, very beginning, they don't get the confidence built off it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what I always do, it seems like you're doing it too, is you give them the warm leads and let them just practice. Let them practice the reply chain. Let them practice dealing with objections. Let them practice nurturing. Let them practice giving the offer. And then with those, it's a higher odds that they're going to take the thing because they're warmer.
Hmm.
And then by the time they get to the cold, whether that's Facebook groups, Google outreach, referral partnership strategies, they're gonna at least know the basic system and be a little bit more confident with it.
Hmm. I think that, yeah, I like that too. Because I feel like I've been giving her the feedback on the reply chain before she send it. So I, go through the approval process and just let her know to just be relaxed as possible. I've been stressing the fact that just make common sense common sense. Don't overthink it. Don't be stressed out about it. So that way you'll be good. Um,
100%.
so um, what I was about to say after that, um my my next my next thing is I have been considering getting lead getters. Um, like someone to help me get lead getters. You know what I'm saying?
Are we talking about getting like setting up referral partners to where they give you leads, clients from them, or are you talking about kind of getting contractors where people will basically get a commission or a percentage of the people they bring you?
So for example, like an HR person
Huh?
or like a hiring manager that knows how to get leads.
Uh,
they can continue to duplicate themselves and train them. So that way I'm not always have to be there.
Yeah. Well, let me make sure I'm hearing it right. So you want to have somebody that can, like, so if you have one person that can get leads, having that person that can not only teach new people how to do the same thing, but find
Hire,
those people.
hire first,
Yeah.
hire. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So find those people like them that they can teach that stuff to, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the key is, yeah, the key is it's one of those situations where the great thing about this department is there's different departments, and usually, not always, but in high dollar service businesses, the fulfillment department are the most expensive and the higher barrier to entry because they have licenses, stuff like that. Like some of mine, physical therapy business, they have licenses. Yours, you have a license to be a CPA, stuff like that. So those are harder, but marketing, it's you can teach someone the basics and you don't need a license. But the key is it's just some really common traits that you've got to find. And the great thing about this, Nisha, is you have framework. So you kind of have two pieces of the puzzle in the course. Module, I believe it's module 5,
Mm-hmm.
walks through what are the traits of a marketing assistant, like what makes a good one. And it also goes over some free ways to get that person. Now, it also goes over paid too. Like you can do the paid stuff, but there this type of hire, this assistant you're talking about, it's a lot of them out there that have the potential. Now, it's not many that actually have it. Like, but there's
Okay.
many that have the potential. The key is what I would recommend is to pick a lane. Like right now, you have this assistant coming in, right? And the assistant is doing some warm outreach, which
Mm-hmm.
I recommend. I think anybody starting up should practice on that. But there are three different things that you can have this person do, and they're on the course. One, it's on module 2, they can do Facebook groups. Two is they could do Google Outreach, which is on module 2. Three is they could do a referral partner strategy, okay, which is on module 3 or 4, something like that. Whichever one of those lanes you pick, they all work. They all work. Whichever one of those three, you want to dig deep with that assistant and get them to do that and hold them accountable and have them do a lot of it. In this mastermind, this is good too to see what hurdles they're facing as they're doing that. And all they need to do is volume with one of those three will work for your space 1,000%. It's working right now. You just need to make sure they pick one and that they do enough volume and they get coached on what they're doing. Because once they can do it efficiently, then you can get that employee to teach other employees. And
Okay.
then it can scale up that way. And then you can also scale it with technology as well, which we've kind of talked a little bit about that on the course. It talks about that as well. But the first thing, Tanisha, I would say your head's in the right place. But first thing is we need to get them to be proficient in a cold outreach strategy, whether it's Google, Facebook, or partnerships.
You're right about that because now the coaching is the foundation, and I could coach her the foundation with that direct, and they could build that team for me. And that'll
Thousand.
level them up, and that'll put them in a different position, and that'll give them the eagerness because they're already hourly. And so, question,
Well,
uh,
actually, real quick, I don't want to cut you off, Tanisha. Real quick, I had that same conversation with Zach, and he's doing the same thing with his operations department. So he got one person and he taught them how to do the books and how to do cleanup stuff like that. And that person, he made a system. That person teaches the next one that comes in. Zach doesn't teach them; they teach them, and they hold them accountable. And the team grows that way. It's no different with marketing or sales team. But the key is, like what Zach did, you've got to have one person that can do it. So it's kind of a funny example because with fulfillment, it's always the owner. The owner can do the cleanup, knows how to do all that, and then they can teach to a person that can teach to other people.
yeah, you know what's so funny is that um the last time I came to the meeting, we were talking about that because I had watched them out to five and I was dealing with the constraints of bringing someone on.
Yeah,
I started actually training my lead bookkeeper in the fulfillment, and she's helping me train the new girl who started this week with reply chain.
100%.
So it's been helping out. It's been a ripple effect.
I want to help you have less gray hairs, Tanisha. I'm telling you.
And no more seizures.
No more seizures. I don't want any more seizures. Doing that it's going to give you more leverage, and that's at this stage of your business. And this is what the mastermind really is about. It's about giving us more leverage moving forward.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
I think
I'm
it's going to
excited
be good.
about that.
But the key is though this. Now I'm going to give you a mistake that can happen. I don't want you to make the mistake. So I'm going to tell you what it is right now. I've had some people in the mastermind or potentially the course here and there that will get an assist that have an assistant. And what they'll do is they'll give the assistant multiple strategies at once. Facebook groups, Google outreach, referrals. Now I'm gonna just
Mm,
dig into this. Well, yeah. We're on the same page. Now I'm gonna dig into it a little bit. If that was to happen, for example, that person might be able to post to maybe 5 Facebook groups a day and keep up with a couple people. They might be able to do like maybe 15, 20 reach outs on Google. They might be able to talk to maybe 4 or 5 CPAs that they want to have as referral partners. And it's going to be kind of muddled. But if they just did Facebook groups, I got a guy that's going for my course right now. He's only doing Facebook groups and he got one person within a week.
hmm
Just doing that, responding all the leads that are responding to the post. Then they spend all their time doing the 100 posts during that week. And they figure out which ones are good, they keep them, which ones are bad, get rid of those. They have leads they're nurturing, and that does better. Or they do just Google outreach. And in that case, you can get maybe 3 emails. Do 75 outreaches, 25 per inbox for that person a day. Follow up with leads, nurture them, get them to do the paid stuff. Third option is you just do referral partners. You say, okay, I want to get clients coming in. Partner I'm going to target is going to be CPAs that don't have bookkeepers. I'm going to get my assistant to get a list of 100 accountants near me and expand, and they are going to call every single one of them up. And by odds of it, out of 100%, you might have maybe 40% that aren't interested or they have bookkeepers. Out of the 60, you'll maybe get, maybe 25 that are wishy-washy, something like that. They don't fulfill anything. And then you can have maybe 20, 30% that will actually give you people. But you can see each one of them situations are really good, but we've got to have that focus for the assistant because I've seen a lot of people have a good assistant and they let them go. I'm not saying you do this. I'm just doing it for everybody in the call so they know. And they may let them go, but it's really just that they didn't have the tools or the environment to do well with it. Now, if you do have that and you got a full week's worth of time and you do strategy number 3, if you call 100 CPA firms, you're going to get somebody. You're
Yeah,
going to get a client. If you do 75 outreaches on Google a day, you're going to eventually get somebody. If you post to 100 groups, you're eventually going to get somebody local. So if they're not getting it with the correct environmental conditions, then you know it's them, it's not you. And that's always important for us to know when we're trying to figure things out.
yeah, yeah.
That makes sense?
Definitely. No, yeah, definitely. I think that's what my last admin was really good. She was with me for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
in like 2.5 years, pretty much. Um, and I like to stay focused on one because the key is to master it for me. Like I really want them to master it because I'll start, have training material because I like to build training material so I can just send videos.
Well, hey, efficiency, efficiency.
Because I don't want to go over this again. Once I do it once, I'm over it. So we're just gonna
100%.
record the meeting when I train you on it, and then I'll just put it in a hopper for the next person as a need to know, FYI to kind of help them out. And it makes it easier for me to just send links and stuff because that's what I kind of did with the other girl, was showing her some of our systems and our workflows, and she got an
Yeah.
idea how to like basically follow along with it.
I love it. And it also preserves your time. And I do this too, because if somebody has a question, and you know you've talked about it a bazillion times, the follow-up questions, have you looked at the system yet? No. Go ahead and check that out first. And then if you got questions, let me know. And
Mhm.
that saves so much time. So yeah, that's the right thing to do.
I've learned
Um,
efficiency over the last 2 years for sure. I love Loom. I use Loom for
oh yeah.
everything. Um, my clients, they really love because I don't even really do tax return overviews over the phone anymore. I send them a Loom recording and they absolutely love it and they get done with things so fast. The turnaround time has shortened significantly from the processing from beginning to end.
I love it. I think it's great. And I think that's the key part of your growth move forward is going to be all about efficiency. Just making things efficient, automated, stuff like that. And that's the fun thing, Tanisha, about all of this. Like what you brought up is like really good topic. It's like how do I get somebody that can get someone else that will do this, rinse and repeat. All three of these strategies I just mentioned in the course, they are all super scalable. The most scalable ones is the Google Outreach and the referral partners, but they're all pretty scalable.
So
Could
I
I mean,
started something like that, by the way.
what's
I
that?
I started something like the referral partner strategy. So I mean I did it as a default. For example, on our recent content that we posted, we're giving people $25 as a credit, or they can get cash as a referral partner. So anybody that sends referral to us, we're having them use a special code, and then I'm having them fill out a W-9 or use a special link, so that way they can become because I do affiliate marketing, so
Yeah,
I'm familiar with the process. So
know
I
all about it.
created.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. I mean, it's efficient.
Yeah, and so I've had clients, I've had 5 new referrals from clients this week, just from the existing clients.
I love it. And it also tells you a lot about how your fulfillment's being done, that you guys are giving a good experience, which is
They
always
speak
great.
highly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it helps a lot. And that's what I had a conversation with somebody in the course yesterday, and it was like they were built up a little bit, but they were like, we don't have much word of mouth at all. And I was like, you know what? We all, and this is why it's good you have another perspective of it. If there is no word of mouth, you seriously got to look at your fulfillment and how you're doing it. So it sounds like you guys are good on that front. So really, if anything, it should make you feel a lot better because whatever strategy you guys pick, whether it's Facebook groups, Google Outreach, or referral partners, it's gonna be magnified because of the experience with referrals. They're gonna refer other people word of mouth
Mhm.
type deal. So I guess I'll lead to the big question. What would you say, Tanisha, is the big questions you have? It could be regarding anything, but could also be regarding this new hire because I know that's pretty fresh and that's kind of the route you're going.
Okay. So with the new hire, as we continue to do extensive training with her, I'm trying to figure out, because I'm also just thinking about budgeting as well, because I don't want to just kill the cat, because I do want to eventually do the saving like you were talking about, so we can have that dollar amount for the ads, because eventually I do want to be able to do ads, and I don't want to go broke doing ads, because I hear the horror stories of it's gambling. It's
I knew two friends personally. You think I'm going to be joking with this? This is a true story. They killed their businesses by doing paid ads too soon. Killed them.
No, I know. I'm familiar. I've read about it. I've heard about it.
Mhm.
I don't want to do that to myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to be able to utilize the free as much as possible.
yeah.
However, I want to like keep things going consistently, but I don't want to bring in another hourly person. But I felt as though when I tried to do commission, when I tried to hire for commission based, I got
Mhm.
a lot of kickback. People weren't as it,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you recommend with something like that, you know?
People don't want to like, yeah, I get what you're saying. They don't want to like eat what they kill. So is this, I just want to clear, I want to get clarity in the question. So Are you basically talking about when you decide to do paid ads, like how you should structure it or set it up?
Yeah, so I'm saying I don't want to do paid ads just yet, but I want to be able to generate enough revenue so that way I can afford it. Because I want to do at least 6 months to a year of saving so that way I can
Yep.
have that account separate. So
Yep.
I want to be real reserved about it. I want to make sure that I'm solid for a year at least. We're gonna do
No. Because like, here's the thing: your business, like your goals are long term. So
Yeah,
100%, like you want to lay down a good brick foundation, and then you're not going to have the issues. Because even when like if people are paying paid ads month to month, you're not thinking clearly.
yeah,
Like usually what happens is that you're not. I mean, it's like basically if you do it, you get scared really fast, and then you'll either shut them down really quick when right before they start working, or it's just not gonna you're not gonna spend enough to hit the threshold so they do work. So here's my recommendation. Here's what I would say. I agree, and it says this in the module. At least 6 months or so, save up for paid ads, and also, and I'm going to dig into this a lot more, agency cost as well.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now I'm going to explain all that in a little bit. So you save up agency cost, 6 months ad cost itself. For you, I think I always talk about focus. Alex talks about that too. He likes that. When you focus on one thing, it's more effective. So for your space, Google paid ads. You can do some research, Tanisha, but Google paid ads is probably the route you want to take. Mainly because if someone is starting paid ads, it's multiple reasons why I'm telling you to potentially start with that. But one of them is an easier but slightly more expensive form of paid ads are going to be warm audience. So, like people through Google, they have a problem. Like they type in, I need bookkeeper,
okay,
I need accountant, I need finance,
yeah,
whatever.
hmm
Whereas Facebook is interrupt marketing. It's harder. Not me. I'm not saying it's not efficient because I use it, but it's harder because you're interrupting people and you're just trying to find people that may have a need, right? Whereas Google, they're coming, they have the problem, they type it in. So for that reason, I would say you're better off just saving the money and going to Google. Now, as you're saving up money, that's going to tell you when to start is when you save up the ad cost and the agency cost for 6 to 12 months.
okay,
Once you do that, then you can go forward. In the meantime, what I would do is I would focus on one of those three strategies we talked about. Make sure one of your staff is doing them correctly, and then you get them to train other staff and multiply that. And something really cool is going to happen. I've seen this happen plenty of times. This happened to me with one of my businesses. When you have enough money to do the paid ads, you may think, well, actually, I don't know if I want to do paid ads right now. Because at that point, you are going to have a proven model. You're going to figure out, okay, if I hire this one person 40 hours, I'm going to get 4 consults a week. I'm going to get one new client a week. I know that. The data tells me that. So it's pretty predictable. I can just get more people because the market's big. So you may want to just at that point say, maybe I want to keep scaling that a little bit before I do paid
yeah.
ads.
So because
Or
I
I'll
can
do paid.
modify the hours and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Or you might say, okay, now I'm going to just do paid ads with it as well. But that's going to be really cool. You'll have the choice. It'll also allow you to get that money saved up faster. So when you get to paid ads, if you're going to use them, I would recommend Google. But something that is massively important, don't expect those ads to produce for at least 3 months.
I hear.
I've had so many friends that have cut them off month two, and this is usually because they're paying month by month. They don't have it saved up. And then I keep telling them like, oh gosh, you gotta wait. If it's a good agency, you gotta wait a couple months. So you gotta wait a while. But after 3 or 4 months or so, you've got to look at the data. That's your responsibility. So the agency's responsibility is to get you leads. Your responsibility is to hold them accountable, right? So if you're not getting leads, You do a basic ROI. How much a month am I spending on agency cost? Typical cost would be 1,500 for an agency per month. So what am I paying for that? And then how much am I spending on Google right now? It'll probably be a couple thousand. So it might be 3,500 a month, something like that. All right. What is my average lifetime value? Customers. You can choose to be more conservative or less conservative. If you're more conservative, you're mainly going to look at just the cleanup cost and the initial like couple months. Now, if you got data on how long people stick with you, your lifetime value is very, very high. But
Mhm.
whether you want to be aggressive or conservative, doesn't matter. You got to choose one and just determine, is the ROI worth it? Like, for example, I had a client, a chiropractor, one of my in the course right now, and they were doing it where they were spending like $3,000 a month and they were generating one client. Here's the problem: their plan of care was 2K. They were losing $1,000 a month.
Oh,
Like if
wow.
they did not use that, they would have an extra 2 or 3 thousand a month. So it's not,
Yeah.
the agency wasn't working. So I would recommend that you hold them accountable, make sure it's producing, but give it enough time, 3 or 4 months. And also, before you move forward, do an interview with a lot of different pay per click agencies. And more importantly, since and this is if you want to do that, I would recommend it though. If you're going to go the route of Google, you're much better off doing only Google agencies, right? Because if your plan is to do both, right away, then you can interview ones that do both. But if you're just doing Google, which I think, to be honest, Google is more than enough at that point when you're ready for it. You just do Google, the agencies that only do Google, they're going to be better at Google because they only do Google, right? They
I
don't
got
do
a
Google and
question.
Facebook. So, yeah,
So, ad cost. So with the agency, do they actually make phone calls for you, or how does that work?
good question. First, I will say for everyone listening too, because I got some people that aren't going to be in the call today. Um, I would say that making the mistake, I didn't mention this, I just want to say this, making the mistake of hiring somebody in house, an employee that does your pay per click or your paid ads, it's a mistake. It is ever changing. It is so much to it. So when it comes to paid ads, even me, I will hire an agency because that's all they do. And there's all sorts of changes, and they're going to be more aware of the changes day to day than us. Now, what your question is, the follow up. The agency doesn't do the follow up, which I kind of like that anyway. Gives you more control because think about it. What's marketing? Marketing is just getting in a high dollar service business, just getting consults. That's it. So if they're getting your team consults, they're doing their job. Same with same with everything else. So at that point, if and this is something else to think of, if you've got Google going and you've got the money saved up for it, and you're at month 4 and they're getting you in consults, but you're noticing you're like, these people, like I'm not getting clients from them. I think I'm going to let them go. When you're looking at the performance of the agency, you've got to look at the consults they get, not the clients, because the clients is determined by your sales team. And I've seen that happen with some people in the course. Like they will start doing some pay per click, and then basically they get leads, but none of them convert. And that's usually because the offer isn't very good, which we've talked about in the course. So we got that handled. Or you're not able to deal with the objections well enough, which we have in the course. Module 2 has the common
Mhm.
objections, counters, and all that good stuff. So as long as you got that covered and your follow up team is nurturing the leads, which basically means if they say maybe, have it set up to where that person in 2 weeks gives themselves a reminder to follow up with them. And they send them another email in 2 weeks and they give them a piece of content. Say, hey, Jim, I was just thinking of you, man. I think this will be really helpful. I think you'll like this. This is a strategy on how to help with profits. And then they give themselves another reminder in another 2 weeks to where they give them another piece of content and they ask, how is the business doing? And they just keep doing that until they get that person to become a client. So that is going to be really important too with your pay per click, that you have
Yeah, I need to get
that
the
team set
workflow for
up.
that.
And to be honest, it should already be set up by the time you get to that, because if you're doing free marketing, that back end team you need for that. So it's the same thing. You just do basically, you just have that back end team point to that as well, because both of them get to consults at that point.
Okay. So question, with the agency, basically once you get the ad or whatever, they'll be able to get the appointment set up for me, and then the in-house will basically handle the actual sales. And then I need
Um,
to do the
well, real quick on that. So what they'll do is it could be a couple of different ways. It depends on how the ad is set. You could get it set to where, and I've done it a bunch of different ways. I've had agencies where we have the ad set up to a Calendly link where the
okay.
person will set up the call from there, or like in the PT business, all the Google, Facebook ads, I have one email that my sales team uses, and every time that person's interested, basically we'll get, and they fill something out, we'll get a notification, an email sent to that email. It'll have all the patient information, all the stuff they filled in through an email. So basically, that staff, what they do is I have on their checklist twice a day, they'll check the emails and follow up with leads morning, afternoon.
So basically on the landing page, just do have a short form, basically. Or
Um,
well,
it,
wait, are they gonna, because I'm still lost a little bit. We're gonna do a short form, or is it gonna be the consult information that they put in to say, you know what I mean?
yeah, it
Missing
depends.
something.
It depends on the strategy.
Okay.
What I can say is obviously you want to not, the way that the Google ads work is it's geared towards hot and cold leads. For example, when they have your thing on there, okay, there's going to be like a number on there that they're going to set up to where they can call if they're just interested in the service, like then and there. Like they don't want any sales call, they just want to buy it. There's going to be some hot buyers, so that's there for them. But it's going to go to a landing page to where it has the number, so where if they want to be a hot buyer, they can. Or it talks about the lead magnet, which in this case would probably be a consult, something like that. And then from there, they're going to put in their information to show they're interested and hit submit. And then that will either, if you choose to put a Calendly link on there, then they will book themselves to a slot. Or if you choose to not do that, then that when they submit the form, that will go to your email and give you all the information for your team to follow up with.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, they're expensive. We got to make sure that you save up enough money for that, and that you do interviews with a lot of agencies, and more importantly, and I've seen people not do this, hold them accountable. Don't let them tell you like, oh, it just needs more time. Like if you're past 3 or 4 months, you should be getting leads. And if they're a really bad sign is if the lead count starts to drop
Mhm.
and you notice that they're not contacting you. And then when you contact them, and I've been through all of this before, you're like, hey, this performance is dropping. I'm not getting as many consults. Like, oh yeah, we need to freshen up the ad. Why haven't you found that out yet? That's a red flag, because they should be monitoring if performance, it's the same with Facebook ads, is dipping. So that's the key thing. Definitely, if you plan to do this, you got to keep your eye on just the basic stat of how many leads are we getting.
Yeah.
Um, that's probably the most important stat. Like some people will get caught up in like they'll look into like how many all these different markers, like how many likes with the Facebook one, all the looks, all the follow-ups or repeat views, stuff like that. All you got to do is actually look at what matters, which is consults
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I just need to duplicate the new client acquisition person that I just hired after I get her trained up enough. We're
Yeah.
gonna duplicate her, bring somebody else on, and
And you'll be ready. You'll be because
yeah,
at that point, like your back end system will be there too.
yeah,
Because that's what's great about the cold outreach stuff. It's like you learn all the basic stuff and you just slant it towards the paid stuff. Because a lead is a lead when they come in.
yeah.
Now, I will say it's going to be a little harder with Google, even though this warmer leads, like they have a problem. You don't build up the relationship with those guys before they come into the console. Like the strategies I mentioned in the course, there's three. You do build up the relationship first.
Yeah.
So it will be harder to get those. The phone, I've had sales guys say this. The phone calls will seem very different. Not very, but they'll seem different. It'll be harder. Because
Okay.
if you're doing Facebook groups, for example,
Okay.
when somebody responds to a poll, you ask them a question, like the reply chain, they respond back. You ask another question, they say something back, so they're talking back with you. Another one, you say, okay, perfect. All right, let's go ahead and set you up. And then when you set them up, then you can have like you can send them a nurture content in the meantime. And then by the time they're on your call, like they already know who
I feel
you
like they know
are.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the cold stuff gets you ready because when people go right to the paid stuff, it's scary because they can run out of cash, but also they might not have that back end system really
Mhm.
good.
You know what? I don't think I'm scared of anything. I can't.
I know
I
you're
used
not.
I used to I used to do insurance sales, door knocking. Okay, so that's
Oh my! Hey, that takes. Excuse my French here. Cojones. That takes cojones for sure.
so I think that that's the thoroughest you can be
That's the
doing door
hardest.
knocking, selling life insurance, telling somebody.
I had a buddy. His dad used to do that, and he said he'd carry a gun with him
I mean, it was
because they
good
used to
money.
carry the money. They'd carry the money in the car or
Yeah.
something. I don't know,
Oh
but
wow.
he said yeah, he'd have to carry a gun with him. So yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, like life insurance is tough sales, and that's the coldest it can get. Honestly, I don't think it can get no colder than that. When you
Mm-mm.
calling somebody that you don't even know and telling them that you need to get this life insurance policy signed,
You might
and
die
you
soon.
gotta come and knock on their door. They don't know you. They looking at you like you crazy. And but you know what? Because my personality, I'm so confident. My lead bookkeeper, I'm bringing her into the sales because she oversee the international team, so we could get production done a lot faster. The operations team, they're solid. I just really need to focus my energy on this marketing department because
100%.
it's not giving me what I need. I'm tired of investing all this money in there and I'm not getting the return that I'm looking for. But the lead bookkeeper, she's so good and she just as confident as I am. And I feel like with her and I handling the sales, I think that we can knock this out the park. I just got to get the new leads coming in the door.
That's so the two big pieces to that.
Okay.
Pick a lane. One of those three I mentioned. Pick a lane that
Mhm.
hold the person accountable.
Yeah.
Hold them accountable to getting consults.
Yep.
What it is. And the extra piece to it, which is very important, let me train them as well. Bring them on here. Any questions they have, we want to make this as fast as possible. That's one of the big things with the mastermind. So if we choose one lane for them, we hold them accountable and they get the coaching. All you need is that one, and then it's like a snowball effect. Once you've taught one, it tends to be easier for them to teach another person. What's going to happen usually is it will take them longer, a little bit longer to teach someone else than you teaching them, right? But you got leverage, so that's okay. Right? It's okay if it takes them longer, as long as they can replicate themselves.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. So I would say that's the two things, Tanisha, that I would keep front of mind. Choose a lane and then hold them accountable.
Hmm.
Important.
I'm gonna bring both of them on next week.
Cool.
The digital creator who creates the content for me and
Yeah.
the client acquisition girl. And I'm gonna have them prepare some questions for
I
you.
was I was about to mention that. What you want to do if you're bringing on a staff is make sure that it doesn't get bogged down. So say I want you guys to think for 5 or 10 minutes. What is your biggest hurdle? What's your biggest constraint? And I
Mhm.
want you to put down your three biggest constraints and questions you have on that. And then we're going to talk about it and give you a solution. And then we can move on. And I think just having them actually let them know it's okay to spend five, because it is important to spend time thinking about the question. So 5 or 10 minutes and coming up with the question before the call happens, because I've always found employees learn quicker when it's like that, as opposed to them trying to think of something as they're on the call.
You got to prepare this before you even come to the meeting, so you ready all ready.
100%. What's the old phrase? You fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Seriously, you fail to plan, you
Very
plan to
important.
fail.
Very important. Love it.
Who wrote that? Who's that by? I like
I
that.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's like a common like saying, but I don't know
Yeah,
who said it.
you
Um,
plan to fail, you fail to plan.
I
Did I
like
say it
that. And
right?
there's another one. I think it's Tom. I think it's Thomas Jefferson, maybe Ben Franklin, where they're like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I like that too. There's
Yeah,
a lot of good old sayings out there.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Plan to fail, fail to plan.
I like that. Write it down.
I
Well,
like that.
Tanisha, very good. So you let me know if there's any questions. In the meantime, you shoot me an email, but I would love to have them on the call next time. And we should have a couple more people on here. But yeah, that's the focus. And we just keep pushing it. And it looks like we got some good hopes for this new hire you got.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to know where am I at with because I know I came on a few weeks later, uh,
Oh, with the
about my
mastermind?
6 week, and then you were like 8 weeks. Uh,
Yes. Yeah. So I'd have to look at ClickFunnels. I have an automatic counter and like it'll notify me, but I can look at that and shoot you how many weeks. But it's basically 8 weeks after, the 6 weeks of the course from
okay, so
there.
not an additional 2 weeks, another 8 weeks.
Oh yeah, it's after
Okay,
the course 6 weeks. After that, you got 8 weeks for
okay,
Mastermind. Again,
okay,
I really try to make the offer really good, so
okay.
it helps people, especially when they have teammates or
Yeah.
assistants and stuff like that. So
I just
I
know I
think
came on a little bit late from not being up to date with the email and then being off with the whole medical stuff going on. So I just wanted to kind
yeah,
of make sure I'm,
yeah.
up to date with where I'm at so I can know what to do.
Yeah, no, you should have plenty of time. But yeah, no, I definitely can look at that and see how much you got left. But yeah, you got plenty of time. I just say maximize it, bring them on, and we'll have a good old time.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is a good week.
I love it. And hey, stay healthy. Keep me updated. Hopefully, everything keeps working out okay.
Thank you.
All right, you have a good weekend.
You too.
All right,
Bye.
bye.